Welcome back everybody to the analyst desk of the last match of the week. What was your take on the draft? I always think that the last pick really matters. And SANDBOX took Syndra into Azir and Lucian into Jace, but Lucian had a really bad game. But also Syndra, he only played 50-50 during the lane phase. It was a very flat laning phase. T1, they opened up Varus for SANDBOX, and SANDBOX was looking for the late game, so he went for attack speed Varus. However, to be honest, this game had nothing to do with the draft. It was about the pilots in the game. It was a very absurd game because SANDBOX seemed to be so lost and off. They were not on the same page, and they were thinking of the potential play coming up from T1. So it was a very one-sided game. T1 had a very clean first blood. So we want to talk about the ward and vision setup. So look at OnFleek. Just as he returned, he placed his ward outside of the brush. This was where I'm looking for the vision for the potential level 2 gank from Trundle, just like Freak's Spirit did in the earlier series. However, Lucian just like openly places a ward in that brush. So T1, they can have a very easy prediction of the opponent's vision. Later on, they were having a very easy game, looking for the jungling path for Elam. Maybe SANDBOX players, they were too aware of the potential level 2 gank from Trundle, but their performance didn't really reflect that. Even though they had vision to check out Trundle, their performance was not like that. They were just going in for no reason, and the way they placed their ward was not really that legit. Overall, SANDBOX, they were really hasty and rushing. But same goes to T1. All 10 players, even though T1 won, as a point of pro players' view, this was not a pretty game. So we sincerely need a very harsh feedback on both of the teams' performance. Azir and Jace does not really have a way to join this fight, but Varus, even though they were aware that T1 players are looking for a pick in that bait play, they were so uncautious of every play they make. Because they know what T1 was going to do, they had to be extra careful about their steps, their movement, their path. But they were just going forward for only plan they got. So SANDBOX, they were just led by T1's players, and this game was more like a solo queue game. In the end, T1 was the one securing that win, so, well, let's check out the player of the game. Kana on Jace, he had a lot of pressure in the beginning of the game, and successful level 2 gank, early level gank from Trundle opened up a lot of space for Kana to accelerate his lead, and then he got a solo kill. And a super outplay, a montage play from Kana. Once again, OnFleek, he was not aware of any potential reaction from Kana. It was rather a very bad play from OnFleek rather than an outplay from Kana, because maybe SANDBOX players, they are not even doing the spell checks. We can see there is a lot of problem going on the side of SANDBOX. So it is really a time for them to tidy up. Even though they might be having a slump, but the way they communicate, the way they go into game should be fixed immediately. Let's move on to game number 2, SANDBOX versus T1.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, as usual, for the translation, and happy birthday once again. That's our third happy birthday, G-Sun, so far this broadcast. I hope that's going to be enough, because it may have been our last opportunity, given the fact that this could be a 2-0.
Yeah.
Summit on your screen right here. Normally we come back to the player of the game. This time, we're looking at the player that really needs to step up and take some control.
Yeah, I mean, he is player of the game in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
The
In the worst
6v4
way.
was real.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, 7 versus 3 might have been more to the point, because OnFleek also looked absolutely invisible. I think T1's plan to negate OnFleek, remember, they chose not to ban Varus and banned Olaf instead, and then followed up with banning the rest of OnFleek's champion pool.
Yeah.
And then he looked pretty abysmal on the Gragas.
Yeah, I mean, even on Analystas, they were talking about... They are not even talking about... I mean, they are not even communicating about the
summoner
spells.
yeah.
I mean, it does make sense.
Pretty inexcusable, to be perfectly honest, but let's see whether they tighten it up as we move into ban and pick for game number 2. T1 back on their favorite side, which is the blue side, as SANDBOX. This is one hell of an uphill battle.
So yeah, are they gonna ban Varus? Or are they gonna open up?
Well, I mean, Varus is terrible. He just lost a game, so shouldn't ban. There we go.
So yeah, T1 is banning Olaf as well.
And they can now. They can feel very flexible when it comes to the bans. They banned Karma, Aphelios, and Olaf in the last game, and now it's going to be Karma, Olaf, and maybe Aphelios, unless Teddy wants to have that option. T1 could, of course, ban the Kalista, pick the Aphelios. Can do a lot of different things here. I wouldn't mind a Trundle ban, but Aphelios is going to be taken away.
I would definitely ban Kalista against T1, when especially Teddy is performing so well on Kalista.
Well, will it be the Kalista ban into Trundle first pick?
I mean, otherwise they're gonna just pick it. I don't think they're caring about Trundle T1. I think they will care about more on Kalista.
Well, TF is going to be banned. Set is available, Kalista is available, and Trundle is available. So I think the Kalista makes the most sense, personally.
It's T1, so...
And yeah, there's no Aphelios available. The AD carry pool is well and truly thin. I think Root picking up something like an Ashe here would make a lot of sense.
Yep. And I think
being
and Ashe Tom Kench could definitely help them for their bot lane to have easy laning phase. And also the hook shot can spot out the enemy jungler really easily, but yeah. Syndra once again. I mean, what do you think about this pick? Because personally, I really don't like it. If you are especially bottom tier teams, that you really want to play safe.
Yeah, I feel like Syndra can be very easily exposed, but Dove was probably the best player on SANDBOX in game 1.
Yeah.
So maybe locking him away a priority pick is going to be helping. What are we thinking? Trundle Azir, something like that for T1?
Easy pick.
They could even lock away the Jace early on here also. His counter looked so comfortable. On that pickup, the Trundle Azir, just a little bit too obvious.
Yeah, they always build around Faker and Teddy, it's already set it up.
Yeah. No,
Azir and Kalista and Trundle in the same team. I felt already really comfortable for the T1 side.
Yep. It's certainly looking like a bit of an omen for a 2-0.
Yeah.
But we're still very early in this draft. SANDBOX might have some surprises for us. Oh god. That's a surprise.
That's actually a huge surprise. I mean, I know that they prepared for this, right? They prepared whole week to play against T1, right? So this is probably the pick that they were preparing when they are playing against T1, but it didn't work out that well. And also he failed so many times with Gragas.
Yeah, it was like mechanically not ready, to be honest. That's what it looked like to me.
Maybe more like mentally not ready to play this kind of pressure champion that if you misses one combo then you are completely useless. But yeah, they're picking it up again. Seems like they're really desperate.
Or they're flexing it. I mean, this could be Gorilla that plays it. could be Dove. You know, they might go down the Chovy route. Who knows?
So Root Syndra with Gragas mid, then I can say, wow.
Yeah, Syndra Gragas bot lane.
Yamato Cannon is muffin.
Well, we're not. It's not over just yet. I think we have a feeling that the Gragas is going to be going into the jungle, and that means that it's almost a guarantee that the set will be heading topside, especially with Senna banned.
Yeah?
Unless we're going to see Root pick Kai'Sa and then have the set Kai'Sa combo. And T1, they've figured that one out as well. So they're going to ban the Kai'Sa, and now the 80 carry pool is basically just Ashe.
But I think they can definitely do something like Syndra set or Syndra Pantheon bot lane.
True.
And I think Root, he's not bad non-AD carry player. So I think they can definitely play it, but I'm not sure if they are ready. No, wait.
Oh god, okay. Lucian's locked in.
Okay, so it can be top Lucian with mid set and AD carry Syndra, or it can be like Lucian top with Syndra set bot lane and there is only mid laner left, or yeah, I mean, if it's top Lucian.
Oh, I love this. Okay, the Rakan coming back again. And that's going to be the Kalista Rakan that we saw be so successful, I believe, last year. We've seen it in other regions. Haven't seen it as much here in the LCK, but Effort's Rakan is extraordinarily good. As just pick Jace.
I mean, this is still fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Look at their team fight.
Yeah, you get the quickness in there, and you've got Slicing Maelstrom. Oh my god. It's the easiest scoop for Faker ever. Oh my goodness. Disgusting.
And let's see what is this draft. I mean, if it's Lucian Gragas bot lane, then it's still actually fine. It's kind of really aggressive bot lane to snowball all the game.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
But I think they are...
Yeah, counter picking top.
I'm not sure. They're just fully going aggressive. I like it, actually. I mean, I think this is...
So wait, this is Dove's Aurelia, this is top lane Lucian, Syndra set bottom lane, and on fleek on the Gragas jungle.
Okay, they're trying so many things. They are testing
This is
so many things, yeah. I mean, if it was like some kind of DRX or T1, Genji, those kind of teams trying, then I would say, yeah, this is really nice try.
Yeah,
Oh
let's
man,
go.
I love this. But they are on 0-3, losing all the games in LCK, and they're trying new things. And this doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, you might want to go back to basics first before you try to go with the mind games, but maybe that's just the way that they're going to do it. And maybe this is one of those comps that they have practiced in scrims. Maybe it's time to bring out the big guns as far as some of the secrets that they may have. But this T1 comp looks terrifying. Utterly terrifying.
It already showed up at game 1 as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think, yeah, as you mentioned it, this is the one of the way you actually go through this rough time. It's definitely rough time for SANDBOX.
Oh, 100%.
I think if they can win the game with this kind of draft, then probably this is the champions that they are really confident in it. I definitely love it.
Well, we'll see whether they can bring us to a game 3. T1 certainly with a teamfight comp to end all teamfight comps. But SANDBOX, they have the all or nothing, we're going to kill you as soon as we possibly can and try and snowball this one to a 20-minute victory. And Dove's Ignite in the mid lane certainly shows us that one.
Yeah, I think this is complete all-in.
Yeah, and look, Root's even gone Electrocute Syndra.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely all-in by SANDBOX. They just realized that, okay, we cannot win T1 in a normal way.
Yeah.
So we go full crazy.
Let's bring the cheese.
Yes.
Sometimes the cheese is what you need. We're going back to StarCraft, you know, like...
That is true.
If you can't win straight up with, you know, like...
4 drones?
Yeah, it's like 4, it's like a 4 pool. Let's go. Like, they're rushing. It's like, if you're Protoss, you're just cannon rushing. It's like Parting. Have you met Parting before?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite players just because he's a little bit crazy, whether he's in the game or whether he's out of it. But yes, known very much for cannon rushing. And this feels like the cannon rush equivalent that SANDBOX has put onto the Rift here with their top lane Lucian once again. And Dove on the Aurelia as his answer to the Azir. Definitely a good matchup for Aurelia.
Yeah. And also, I predict this game to go 20 minutes.
Yeah,
only.
one way or the other.
One way or the other. Exactly.
No, I think if T1 are going to win, it's going to be 30 minutes because you got to wait for that.
Because it's
Drake, you got to wait for the
Elder
into the Baron.
And to push, you should have 2 Nashers at least.
Yep.
Rotate safely.
Oh, straight up. And you got to have at least a 30,000 gold lead in the end. That's probably what Coach Kim said. They're like, 13,000? Gentlemen, what was I telling you about 30,000? That's what we need. That being said, I don't have any issues with playing safe League of Legends if it means that you win.
Yeah. I mean, if they...
All right, that's a flash. Facebreaker is brilliant from Gorilla, though, and Effort gets punished instantly for pressing his F button. Or his D button, as it turns out.
I mean, I would be really
flash out of route, though.
Yeah, I would be really mad if SANDBOX plays safe with this kind of comp.
Oh, yeah.
Then I would be so freaking mad. But yeah, T1 is already playing really aggressive on the ball lane with their composition. They got push in level 1, so they managed to force out the flash by root. And this is great news for T1 already.
And I guess Rakan is more than happy to trade his flash because he's got so many dashes.
Obviously.
So, absolutely fine there. Teddy going to be able to take down this ward that was literally just placed in the brush. They observed it though, they already had a ward in there. Elam's going to turn up, and now Dove could be in trouble. Pillar goes down. Elam, you can see, trying to avoid the stun and actually outplace himself. He's able to move out of the way of Dove. Doesn't get a flash or anything like that. On Fleek on the top side will be able to take down this Rift Scuttler. Now Elam's going to turn his attention bottom side.
This is already better than last game Lucian. He is controlling the lane, and also Gragas is on the right spot to support Lucian. They spotted Trundle out on the mid lane. Maybe not it was intentional play, but
yeah,
anyways.
Was a weird play, to be honest, but that's okay. Add a bit of pressure. Faker has a slight lead. And Teddy and Effort certainly having a good time here in this lane so far.
Yep.
And the pressure isn't on T1 to do stuff, right? They have a comp that's going to scale much better than SANDBOX's is.
Yeah, so SANDBOX is kind of on a time clock that they have to snowball all the game.
Oh, yeah.
And Summit is already doing it though on the top lane. It's so much better than last game. Maybe not that much of CS difference.
There's LM. He's going to get booped there. Fleek going to put his belly into the troll, but that's okay. Clearing out vision. And yeah, you're right. I think it's a different matchup. So I think Cannon loses a little bit harder to the Lucian than Jace does. And we saw Doran, like, I mean, DRX weren't winning for very much of that game when Doran's Cannon was trying to compete, but is still going to be able to get those flanks, still going to be relevant as this game goes on. The Cannon isn't about laning phase necessarily. I remember when it used to be, you know, on hit 80 Cannon was definitely all about the laning phase, but the AP variety is all about getting into those team fights. And he's a doctor, so you gotta trust him.
Yeah, and this Ollie Drake is gonna help to snowball for SANDBOX side, so this is already great. If they can get it safely.
Yeah. And I mean, it'd be almost inexcusable if they weren't able to get the early Drakes as this SANDBOX draft, because they did opt in so heavily for the early game. But the fact that they're doing it, the fact that they're getting it very, very early, it's great news.
Great news.
All right, on Fleek and Dove, we're thinking about trying something onto Faker there. Decide not to. Exhaust picked up by Faker, as you can see. So definitely respecting the matchup. And you can see Ken is actually stacking this wave a little bit, so the fact that he has a slight CS advantage doesn't really mean anything, because Lucian will be able to pick up a lot of these creeps as they're heading towards the turret.
I think it's gonna be farming for another 3 minutes probably. Because, yeah, I mean, I think if SANDBOX is farming with this composition again, then I think it's already a disaster. With Irelia, Gragas, Syndra in the same team, and Lucian, by the way,
Yeah.
you must fight Ollie and get some Ollie advantage from the skirmishes.
Not happening just yet. Teddy and Effort going to be able to take down this Rift Scuttlet in the bottom side river. And we've got an Ocean Drake coming up in 3 minutes and 40 seconds time. Mountain Soul or Cloud Soul going to be our options here today. Assuming Cloud. That's what you should always assume. Pretty safe one. There's Gorilla walking over to the Rakan, threatening to break his face. Decides not to pull the pin. As we check in, it's going to be Faker that's in the lead by about 9. Bit of a wave difference. He's taking the lethal tempo on the Azir as well, definitely aiming for the scaling.
And also you're playing as melee champion, so you probably proc more of lethal tempo than when you're playing against range matchup, right? So
yeah,
probably that's the reason why he picked up the lethal tempo. You're playing as melee champion.
Makes some sense.
At the same time, as you mentioned it, it's scaled better. It's scaled better.
Effort. He got punched for a moment, but nothing else going to really come of it as LM. All right. He's lying in wait, ready for a counter gank. Is on fleek, just going to clear out vision. Move himself back. You see LM finally is seen by Dove as he blade surges forward. It's going to mean the troll is going to head towards the top side of the map. Red buff and availability here. As you can see, Summit thinking about moving on over towards it. A lot of pings there on the north side. Scanner's picked up an Ignite. He's ready for a potential scuffle with Summit. That control wars lasted a long time, though we did see in the enemy jungle on the red buff. T1 is well aware of the fact that the Gragas hasn't really gone towards that one as OnFleek turns up. And there's the Slicing Maelstrom onto Summit. He gets ignited, and there's the culling. Flash does come out as now Ellen's the one in trouble. Tries to use the ulti to try and kite his way out, but he's not going to be able to. Gorilla is going to utilize that Facebreaker, and they are going to transition into this Rift Herald. And now, first blood over to SANDBOX. They'll be able to get even more money.
This is the team composition for the early game skirmishes, and this is the situation that SANDBOX really wanted.
Yeah.
They will get extra golds with the Herald as well.
And T1 actually started off the Herald.
Oh yeah.
A little bit crazy.
I mean, they're actually really aggressive nowadays.
Might show some over-aggression.
Yeah.
But we like that. Being aggressive, definitely good. You know, losing the game, not so great. But we'll see whether T1 can stabilize. I have faith that they probably will be able to.
I mean, in the last game also, it was not the cleanest game when we talk about the rotation and those kind of detailed things, right? But still, T1 showed that they have better mechanics. So, yeah,
straight up. As Canna was actually just caught out of position here. Summit gets a flash, just solo, and that's honestly what does most of the damage. As LM tries to use the cast to taxi his way out, but there was Dove and Gorilla already lying in wait. No escape for the new jungler for T1.
But yeah, SANDBOX, they shouldn't stop. They should just keep it up.
Yeah.
I think this one single kill is not gonna help them towards to the victory. So I think they really need to get this second Drake as well, and also try to make this Herald as worthy as possible.
Well, OnFleek gonna be able to put it down if he would like to, as Slicing Maelstrom to clear out the minion wave. A barrel comes in. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Dove is gonna get pushed back with the Emperor's Divide. Vanguard's Edge onto LM though, as he gets ignited. The grand entrance there, just as effort turns up. Hand delivered. And OnFleek is gonna be able to pick up the kill top lane as well. But T1 answering back nicely, and they'll grab turret plates of their own in the mid lane. OnFleek being very patient. Not sure whether that's great. It's necessarily the best idea. as T1 are going to move down towards this Drake and should be able to take that one away as Faker deals with the mid lane outer turret. Not going to be able to kill it just yet, but lots of plates going over to the lethal tempo Azir piloted by Faker. Yeah, that worries me if I was a SANDBOX fan.
Yeah, but still, Summit, he's already having a better time when you compare to game 1.
Oh, 100%.
Is completely different Lucian that you might thinking. It can be finally enemy team Lucian.
Yeah, maybe that one's... Maybe that's what he's picking it again for, just to prove to everyone that actually this is a really good pick.
Yep.
And Dove can just be bouncing around this mid lane. We'll see what happens here as we did actually look towards mid lane. Summit standing just on the edge of the Slicing Maelstrom was pretty nice. His on fleek, he wanted to give it over to Summit, but wasn't able to.
But anyways, yeah, this is the bad moment for Irelia because she is melee champion, so she needs to just push her body to get the mid prior, right? So
yeah,
that means you have to fight against enemy champion 24/7, so you must have some backups or cares by your teammates. But this time around, OnFleek was doing his job on the top side, so he should be careful. But Faker, he flipped him perfectly, so T1 got the kill.
It was nicely done. Effort with the only gold advantage on his team. You can see as far as the carries bottom lane, there is barely any difference. It's going to be only 5 gold in at this point in time. Teddy's going to be well positioned to move towards some mid-game fights, and T1, it can be pretty early that they start team fighting. They just need to have a good Slicing Maelstrom with Teddy bouncing around with an item or two. And Faker there to try and scoop everyone up at a moment's notice.
Yeah, I mean, they still have great team fight composition, but I really think when SANDBOX has all the flashes up, they can definitely fight back because they have item advantage, right? But it seemed like T1 got the secondary Drake, by the way.
They did. They got that Ocean, and now it's Mountain Drake. And if T1 even get 2 of them, I think it's just over for SANDBOX.
I mean, it feels already really bad for SANDBOX because I literally said that they really need to snowball it. They shouldn't farm with this comp. So I think it's already really not that happy situation for SANDBOX.
Yeah, good vision here as well for T1. Saw spot out OnFleek his entire journey through the river. And yeah, T1's just going to go back to slowly playing this game out. Faking to go back home. I think it might be Nash's time. And that's right. So SANDBOX do still have a lead. Like 1.4k, something like that. So not quite enough. Still, it's an advantage. That's something.
I mean, this time around, look at SANDBOX's items. They have all completed items.
Yeah, they're
for each champions.
Good.
Yeah. So they should make some situation going on the map. Just try to go into enemy jungle and make some fight situation for themselves because, yeah, again, I don't think this composition is made for late game.
No, certainly shouldn't work out. If they win in the late game, then it's our eyebrows that should be raised towards T1 rather than anything else. Teddy clears out that top wave. Bottom side of the map, you've got Canna going back home, and I wonder whether that's because T1 do want to fight around this Rift Herald.
Oh, that was prediction.
Yeah, it was. That's not where Dove was, though. So Faker's going to have to blow his flash. In goes Gorilla, finds a face breaker. Looking for Faker there, and they are going to be able to take him down. And now the teleport from Canna means an immediate exit of that particular fight. Yet another whoopsie here for T1.
Yeah. I never thought that I will say this in 2020, I mean in this world, in this universe, but guys, the fact is Faker inted.
He did, he made a bit of a mistake there. Not entirely sure what the mindset was, but we might actually have a look at a replay or something like that to give us some added explanation.
Yeah.
But, he has done a few of these so far this season, on the Azir specifically. He's had some really good games.
Yeah.
But Not a man prone to making mistakes like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was always showing his performance, and in the spring split, everyone was asking about him. Yeah, maybe this time around Chovy and BDD is better than him, but he proves that it's not true. He was the best mid laner in LCK in the spring split.
He certainly won, so you can't really argue. As Mountain Drake has spawned, SANDBOX have position as Faker's top lane without teleport. And that should mean that OnFleet can come over here and pick up this Drake. It's only a cannon towards the bottom side, so looks to me like T1 are just happy to give that one up. Stubb's also top side of the map. I have a feeling that T1 could have actually fought for this, but decide not to. And LM, he's top lane. So the Drake is just handed over to SANDBOX. Really great news for them.
Yeah, that mid skirmishes helped SANDBOX so much.
Oh yeah,
they forced out the cannon, TP and flash, and also Faker used his flash and died at the end. So this is still going really great for SANDBOX. They're snowballing, and if they can actually push this turret on the mid lane, it would be cherry on the top. It would be like 1 HP almost. Yeah.
Yep, it's going to be very, very low, as Teddy should be able to poke out Shirley's eye. Does so. Faker going to go back home, see whether he can complete his boots, something like that. And yes, he does. So Sorcerer Shoes in there. T1 are by no means out of this, right? It's not even over 2,000 gold yet or anything like that for the lead. But SANDBOX do have momentum.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he
expected Dove to move topside.
But that was a necessary play by Faker, even though he flipped him. I don't think they can actually one-shot Dove right there. So, yeah, a bit of oopsie there. But still, they have late game teamfight comp, so it's fine.
Yeah, you may as well do your limit testing at the beginning and then win the game after that. As the gold lead's actually shrinking as the game goes on. 3.5 minutes until the next Mountain Drake is available. I would suggest that T1 fights for that one, as stacking these mountains can be very scary. Soul Point is certainly a large amount of pressure on this map. No turrets to be taken just yet by T1. You can see the bottom lane outer is actually very, very low, as is the mid lane. So T1 now looking to try and get in there. Take that one if they can, as backdoor bonus will be up. So Teddy not going to be able to get it on this wave. As Gorilla does show up. Cannons towards the bottom side, no teleport. Faker top side. Definitely no teleport because he doesn't actually have that one chosen.
Yep.
He will shove that one out though. And I've seen a lot of Faker in side lanes this season. It's sort of been his favorite thing to do on the Azir. It certainly is a threat to turrets though, so that does make some sense.
Yeah, currently still going great for SANDBOX, but it's not that huge difference between SANDBOX and T1, by the way.
I mean, look at the farm. It's identical apart from Teddy having a 40 CS advantage over Root.
It's only 20 minutes, but he has 246.
What the heck? Yeah. Root's farming extremely well. But Teddy's sitting there at like, what, 14 CS a minute or something? Like 12.2. Thank you so much, observers, for putting that on the screen for us. As, yeah, 12.2 is ludicrous amounts of farm.
Yep. And other players are also farming really well, you know? And
yeah, exactly.
We expected them to fight 24/7, but actually they're farming 24/7.
And Teddy now has these 2 items that he's looking for. The fight around the next Mountain Drake should be one that T1 are going to feel pretty comfortable with based on where their items are sitting. Even Canna just needs to go back and get Sorcerer Shoes, and he has fantastic amounts of damage for this point in the game with the double penetration. So, yeah, this is it's getting frightening for SANDBOX.
Next Drake is going to be the game decider, I think.
I agree.
Because SANDBOX is not going to give this up freely if they really want to take this win. And also, T1, I think they're prepared to fight.
They've got the items for it.
Exactly.
Well, even a Zeke's Herald done for effort, it's going to help Teddy out. That's all right. There's Grand Entrance, Body Slam, going to be the perfect counter to that one. Blake just gets himself out of the way, out of trouble. And all right, okay, Faker goes back, collects himself a stopwatch. It's going to be a pretty early Zhonya's by the looks of things. Certainly going to be a decent pickup against the Aurelia.
Yeah. I think after that mid play, he's like, okay, I'm like Zhonya's.
Yeah, I think this might be a good idea. Let's keep ourselves alive, shall we? I think if Canna had a stopwatch, that would be ideal as well. Beggars can't be choosers here with 12 seconds to go until that Mountain Drake spawns. SANDBOX getting themselves into position. Faker as well with pressure bottom side. And LM is now parking himself around this area. SANDBOX make a smart choice though. Move into the mid lane. Take down that tower for free. Because they knew that T1 did have to be careful. Is now on fleek. Thinking that he may have caught LM out of position. And tower falls bottom side as well. So LM wants to try and start off a fight. You can see Effort just dancing around the outside. Okay, there's the flash forward. Quickness lands onto Root, who immediately flashes his way out. Fate's call to save Effort, make sure that he's absolutely fine as Gorilla going to get knocked up and taken down. Good barrel, but into the backline goes Canna, and they just wipe everyone out. Root gets exhausted as he dives in, but not before. Faker does fall down, and SANDBOX have found themselves the victory as LM's the last one standing. And it looks like Soul Point will be going over to them.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like T1 is swiping them up, but the point is, Summit is their main carry.
I guess so.
Also, Dove, he really wants to jump into them, and they actually jumped into Dove, so it kind of helped him. And yeah, that was not that like perfectly coordinated engage by Effort. He forced out the Root. But Root is just the ball laner. It doesn't matter, it's just all about Dove and Summit. So, yeah. Summit is just really hitting Faker on the side.
Oh, wow. And Root managed to press R on Teddy just before he died.
Yeah.
And that's why Teddy actually got eliminated from the fight immediately. So that is going to be Soul Point going over to SANDBOX. Man, it looked like such a good fight for T1, especially as Canna flanked his way in. Yeah. But unfortunately, weren't actually able to take down the carries that they were looking for. And now you've got an on-fleek sitting at 2-0-4. A turnaround Gragas performance. And 1-0-3 for Summit. This is a very relevant Lucian.
I respect him. Like, after the game 1, after that performance on the same champion, I would definitely not pick it again.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
After that, they didn't care at all. So they're performing so much better at the game 2. Maybe because of the feedback, maybe because of the changing mindset. I'm not sure, but definitely respectable.
Oh, 100%. Much, much better. As Teddy's got a QSS now, wanting to avoid any of the stuns and not wanting to be smashed back by Gragas or anything like that. As there's Faker picking up Gorilla. Showstopper comes in, but the show is going to go on, my friend. I apologize. Faker ends that one with a Sand Soldier. And T1, they get the pick that they were looking for, but it's only onto Gorilla. Not the end of the world here for SANDBOX, and there's nothing really to fight for. 3 minutes on that Mountain Drake.
Yeah, and the vision score difference, 100 to 52. This is actually so huge.
That is nuts. Okay, although you have a look at the numbers, and they're not that different. And Rakan being ranged, also being so mobile, is certainly able to get out there and clear vision much more simply. One thing I do want to talk about for SANDBOX, though, is vision. Because you can see top side of the map, all of their vision around the Baron is actually very, very strong.
Yeah. So I think they have one more teamfight to actually end this game. Because there is the Drake Soul Point, there is Nashor, and then if they get it at the same time. This was really great cutout from Faker. Even though there is no objectives that they can play for, still, kill pickup is always right and happy.
Yep, Conflict looking for effort. He gets bounced back. Grand Entrance comes in. Facebreaker down as well as there's the Fate's Call. And that's going to save him so much wasted to try and get the kill onto effort. And in the end, Teddy nullifies it with one press of the R button. As Faker gets himself out. Thought maybe he'd be trying to go for something aggressive, but decides not to. And SANDBOX do have extra pressure. They know that Effort does have to go home, so inherently able to get themselves further down the map. T1 with so much standing gold though. Outer turret top lane, outer turret mid lane, both still standing. This game could flip on a dime if T1 do find themselves a team fight win. You see Summit towards the bottom side, putting pressure onto Kano, who's down by 20 CS. I think that's fine given what we can see in the scoreline. Summit having a much better time on the Lucian this time around.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. If T1 can win one single team fight, it's same to T1. It's gonna be easy win for T1 right now because their team comp is all about team fight and SANDBOX is all about snowballing, right?
Yep.
And then if you fail or lose one team fight, then you will not be able to snowball anymore.
Yep, that's the snowball falling off the mountain. Doesn't really work. So T1 still not going to be too worried about their position in this game, but SANDBOX not out of it by any means. They just need to keep up the pressure, keep winning these fights. Essence Reaver completed for Summit. That is 3 items already done. Kenna does have 3 as well, but they're not quite as expensive as what Summit's put together for himself. Now SANDBOX are lying in wait. Not going to find the target. There's that little ward there. Actually very valuable. Now once again, Effort could be caught. Just going to battle dance over to Teddy though. And their position is given up. Now Faker standing in position, but Vision is on top of him. 1 second, Mountain Break now going to be available. And this is Mountain Soul for SANDBOX. They have to get this. As we can see Canna, so can SANDBOX. As they get out of the way, Teddy in position. Battle Dance gets Effort to safety. Control Ward goes over the wall. T1 immediately get rid of it. Now Dove has started off this Drake. And is still there in flanking position though. Elim over to the side. This is definitely going to be a team fight. That is a phenomenal stun there from Root as the mountain goes down very low. It's stolen from Elim, and now the team fight is on. Faker picks up Gorilla as Canna just zoning with the slicing Maelstrom. It is going to be the Gragas falling down for the first time as now Root has nothing left in the tank, and Faker goes golden at exactly the right time. Dove's going to fall. Faker somehow just walks out of it, and I think we're done on the side of SANDBOX. That was the fight T1 needed to win, and they won it.
And they got the Drake as well. So, and Faker just popped off in that team fight. Maybe that was the timing for Summit again to pop off in that team fight, but he hits Zhonya's, he's exhausting. Like, everything was just perfect by Faker. And then I already...
Yep, you'd already put it down. You are the prophet.
Yeah.
You'd called it. This is going to be a Faker win as Canna, not sure what he's doing here. He's going to get face broken though, as that's just going to bait Summit in. And Canna survives. I don't know what's happened, but yeah, I think we're ticking towards 30 minutes, and SANDBOX, they've once again, the tank is empty.
Yeah, and I think when you're a bottom tier team and you are trying to snowball against the top tier team, it's always feeling like climbing up with the snowball, you know? So
yeah.
If you fail one time,
pressure, right?
Yeah, if you fail one time, you're gonna fall down.
Let's have a look at this team fight once again. Elim gets a brilliant smite, which also procs his King's Tribute. As yeah, Faker was basically untouched.
Yeah, I mean, look at Faker. He's zoning Summit. This time around, it's an exhaust, and also the second time, he almost got one shot, but Sonya's.
He didn't even ult for the whole team fight. He just baited everyone. He soaked an entire culling.
Yeah.
And then pressed his Zonya's button. And in the meantime, Teddy was able to do whatever he wanted because SANDBOX was so concerned about what Faker was going to do.
So Summit just tip it in and died. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. His first death of the game, too. As we've got a 3,000 Baron power play. That's going to flip the gold lead entirely on its head. And Effort is going to get culled. Oh, no, not quite enough bullets there.
Because he was building for Nice Bow. It saved him.
Nailed it. Now he's going to go back
literally
home,
saved him,
completes it. The ultimate buff Teddy with arrows type build. I like it. Normally you can build Ardent Sensor and stuff like that, but do you get an arrow? No, you do not. Need to get them arrows to make circles around the Callista's feet. That is what's very important. Faker's level 18.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When enemy support is level 11, it's 7 levels difference between laner and support, and it makes me really sad.
It's 31 minutes, and Teddy has 386 farm.
I mean, it's look, Teddy won. T1.
Teddy's Flame Horizon his own top lane.
Yeah, T1 means Teddy won, so
That's true.
he's making it, and he's showing the reason why their team name is T1.
The first and only T1 team.
Yeah.
Yep. That's close to 4,000 as we tick down the Baron buff power play. LM in position here. Gets the body slam out of On Fleek. That's a long cooldown, actually, as he throws out the explosive cast. Also a long cooldown. Not relative to other ultimates, to be perfectly honest, but still. Going to be something that T1 can bear in mind. Is Mountain Drake going to be spawning in 55 seconds? Every time one of these comes up, T1 does need to be careful, as Teddy's got 4 items. 3 of which give him lifesteal.
Yeah.
He's got Cleanse. He's also got a Rakan. He's got a QSS, and yeah.
Unkillable demon.
King. That's Faker. He's been a little bit more killable than he otherwise
I guess,
has sometimes this game. But T1, as the juggernaut that they are, just seem to have outlasted SANDBOX in this game. And now they're waiting for SANDBOX to overstep their bounds. Okay, there's the Predator. Fleek looking for an
He's jumping in.
opportunity. Okay, not going to be able to find that one. Yep. Quickness is going to lock up On Fleek, and they just want to make sure that they get the smite out of this one. Dove is going to miss his Vanguard's edge as On Fleek able to escape for the moment. Showstopper, as Gorilla does get the 2-man face breaker, as Canna's just looking for the backline. Syndra melts, evaporates instantly.
Faker.
Actually, as Faker over to the side.
Man.
On Fleek tries to get in.
And
yeah, this game's well and truly over.
believe it.
Fantastic play from Faker, though. It's just really depressing watching a Gragas just body slam forward into the death chamber.
And he still has flash up.
Yeah.
I just cannot believe that. Because he was getting chased by all the players and all the skill shots, and he still saves his flash for the last moment that he needs to kill still on the last moment.
And gets the ace for his team. Clean stuff for T1 in the end. SANDBOX, to be perfectly honest, bounced back better than a lot of us would have expected. But in the end, it felt pretty inevitable that Teddy didn't press the button in time. Oh, how sad. That's okay. You can't really top the style points that Teddy and Effort got for the end of Game 1, so you may as well just screw it up completely in Game 2. But that is going to be it. T1 2-0 over SANDBOX. A little bit too clean, to be honest.
Was it clean 2-0?
Well, it was cleaner than DRX's 2-0. We had 2 2-0s today. Yeah. This was definitely the cleaner one. And I think it was. I mean, there was that one glaring whoopsie that Faker did in the mid lane. You can understand why he did it, but it still was one. Are we still happy with this particular player of the game vote, or do you want to change your mind? How are you feeling?
Maybe I need to change it. I'm not sure because of the first play that Faker did.
Yeah.
The mid lane. But yeah, I mean, I'm sticking it.
You're sticking with it?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
All right.
I think Faker, even though he ended early game, after that he was controlling the mid-game team fight, and after that you saw the last moment when he got focused by all 5 members of SANDBOX, right? He survived.
That's true. He did play very, very well there.
Yeah.
As okay, I'm just going to have a look quickly at Effort's Rakan. He's currently 100% win rate on it in the LCK this year. That's 2-0 thus far.
With Zyrakan, and this time around it was Kalista Rakan, yeah?
Yep, this time around Kalista Rakan. So I just need to go all time. just have a look at what his win rate on the Rakan is at the moment.
Wait.
He's played 20 games and he's on an 85% win rate.
Oh.
That is before this game. So he's probably up to about an 88. At this point, the guy does not lose too many times. It does mean that more often than not, he has Teddy Zaya next to him, and Teddy Zaya also pretty fantastic. But yeah, Efforts Rakan is a bit of a big deal here in the LCK, and certainly was here today as well.
And I like the way how he was styling on the enemy team with the skin. He was wearing IG skin, by the way.
Well, I actually liked what Root did. He picked the SKT Cinder skin as well.
That's
in
true.
the bottom lane. I do like that. I do like that. But yes, IG skin certainly enough to put some fear into the hearts of some of our T1 players. Maybe not now though, because IG certainly didn't do so well over at MSC and are kind of a shadow of their former selves. If we're looking back towards their dominance in 2018. But enough talking about the LPL. Let's keep our mindset back here, because with this 2-0 win, T1 now equalize once again, just like the end of last week with Gen G.
That is true. They are slow starter, definitely.
100%.
In the early game season. And we saw that happening in the summer split. I mean, spring split, right? And yeah.
Why do we keep highlighting this? Oh no.
I mean, this is the situation that SANDBOX actually wanted, you know? So they must show this, you know?
Yeah, true.
I feel a little bad right now that I voted for Faker, but I think, yeah, all the players had some oopsie moment, but this time around he did really well in the team fight, especially.
Oh no, he missed that ult too. Conflict did have to use his stopwatch, but that looked like it was going to be the sickest play. And then unfortunately for Faker, unable to actually make that one work. He did tie it up though with a couple of kills at this particular moment. And from here on out, I mean, this was him tanking a culling for the majority of the time, but what it did was it brought all of Summit's time away.
And also, like, look at here. I remember this team fight as insane as here in this game. That's really fat Lucian, by the way.
Yeah. But he was zoned. No real opportunities.
그라본다.
Have a look
가자,
at
본다.
Gragas.
잡았어, 거의 잡았어.
We
밑에
got
좋아,
it.
밑에 좋아. 밑에 킬 막아. 위에 잡았어, 아래 조심, 아래 조심. 위에
careful.
잡았어.
왼쪽도 좋아. 이래를 녹음.
이래 뺄게.
Okay, everything is looking great.
이래 조식에 있어, 이래 조식에.
다행이야, 빼봐.
아래 죽었어, 아래 죽었어.
살만해,
살만해.
probably dead.
아래 잘 실려 잡았어.
야, 위에 봐줘, 위에 봐줘.
위에. 라인 찍혀.
막았다, 내가 막았다.
야, 미드.
미드.
나이스.
Yeah. I think
자,
if effort doesn't get player of the game here, then
끝난 거 같아.
everyone's trolling.
알아.
오케이,
좋아.
잠깐만.
좋아, 집중 끝나.
뭐라 하지 모르겠어. 조용히 해, 그냥. 항상 고맙다.
자, 죽여. 형 바보. 어디 가세요, 형? 어디 가세요, 형? 너무 좋아요.
Where are
어디
you
가세요?
going?
너무 좋아요.
Where are you going?
형 사랑해.
Where are you going?
나이스, 엘리미
Teddy's
사랑해.
like having fun.
형이 사랑하고. 나는요?
This
I love
certainly
you.
looks like a lot of fun. that
다이브
Teddy's
가자,
been
이거.
having.
다이브 가자. 다이브.
Apparently,
일단
야,
Faker is
야,
calling
좀만
dive.
깨봐, 좀만 깨봐.
으아!
간다. 이거 돼? 이거
내가 먼저
돼?
할게, 내가 먼저 할게.
Is it possible?
몰라.
Oh no.
아.
And Elim is currently just saying, I
장난
love you
아니네.
all. I love you guys. I love you so many times. It's so cute.
Ellie was on the bus. He was certainly on the T1 bus, as you can see.
That is true.
4.4k, but he just needed to, press his R button on the right targets here and there, and he did navigate the early game relatively well.
Yeah, and also this kind of composition didn't work out in LCK again. SANDBOX. I mean, they tried and they got the early leads, but unfortunately, it was T1.
And if there's ever a team that you wouldn't want to try and snowball against and get an early win, it is straight up T1. Their
Yeah,
ability
that's
to
true.
stabilize is the best almost in the world. Like, it's insane. Like, this is what they've been known for forever. So don't do it. Picking early game against T1 is suicide, always has been. But SANDBOX are a we win in the early game or we lose type team. So I think there is one, it's insane, and two, you got to stick to who you are and how you win, right? But unfortunately, SANDBOX is stuck between a rock and a really hard place.
I mean, they have no color.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they are looking for.
They're mono red is what LS would say, which is a Magic Gathering term, which means you just try and rush down your opponent and don't pay attention to anything else. something that I knew as Face Hunter in Hearthstone days.
Yeah.
We're mentioning a lot of card games that have no relevance to League of Legends, but hopefully
we have,
that helps some of you guys understand.
But we have Legends of Runeterra right now.
That's right, we do. So what is the Legends of Runeterra equivalent? I haven't actually played too much. I guess it's the, what's the one that Draven's in?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's, Noxus. Some of the Noxus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are the Noxus comps that are a lot of...
Aggressive.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't played enough.
I think that's
Terra, to be
Noxus
honest.
plus Filtover or something.
Yeah, Noxus Piltover, it's one of those. As we're going to have a look at Anna picking up player of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think also kind of did a really great job on the team fight because at the bottom side during the Drake pit fight, yeah, look here. He forced out this
He
really
proto-belted to avoid it
Yeah.
as well. That is sick.
That is sick, you know. So probably that's why he got most of the votes. And yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the T1 members deserves the POG, right?
I mean, there was a lot of really good team fighting in this game.
Yeah. Oh man, I still cannot believe the Faker actually survived that. It's just crazy. And look at Kanda, man. He's just baiting them. This is best CC ever with 1 HP.
The best CC is convincing your opponent that they should be going exactly where you want them to. Whoa, I've never heard that one. That's beautiful.
And Ethel, best support in the world.
Oh, that was so good.
Lovely.
Faker says thanks, and T1 also say thank you because this has allowed them, instead of moving further down, like if they had have lost here, it would have been catastrophic for their position in the standings, and now they move up to equal 4th, I believe, with Gen G. And we have a stabilized top 5, I guess, with Team Dynamics being the real surprise up there. We're going to have a look at the standings, though, after we get the player of the game interviews. And I think it's Canna, the double MVP. So we just get to have a chat to the new top laner.
That is
starting
true.
to pop off, yeah.
In T1, when you have Faker and Teddy in the same team, you have POG for 2 games.
And you have Ellen, who's got a crazy KDA for a jungler. But we're going to throw it over to G-Sun for some interview translation with Canna.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with Universe Translation, and here we are with the proud Andong boy, Kana, for the solo POG interview. How do you feel, Kana? In game 1, we had a very smooth victory, but we had a hard time in game number 2 in the early phase, but happy that we dealt with it really well. So this is your 3rd POG, but this is the first POG interview. It feels really awesome. Yeah, you are the solo POG, and you are just crashing Lucian on Jace. Even got a solo kill. What's your thought on those 2 matchups? Just looking at the lane matchup, Lucian is over Jace. But in terms of the later phase of the game, Jace has much more work to do. And as long as you get a kill on Jace up against Lucian, you have a lot of priority. So when you have this solo kill angle, do you kind of prefer it, or do you want to go a little bit more safe? I prefer this kind of spear versus spear matchup on top. I guess Kana is really having a boosted confidence based on his improved performance. Who are your competitive players? There are some scary players, to be honest. Keen, I played against him already, and then the Degree comes as a pressure as well. But you do want to face him, right? I mean, I'm scared, but I want to give it a go. Let's talk about the draft. T1 opened Varus to SANDBOX. It's very rare. What was the plan in opening that pick? Based on our scrim results, we thought Kalista is actually over Varus. Watching T1 series recently, Effort, well, he used to be like a standard boy. He always wanted to end the game early, not going for a turret dive, but now he's he's also going for some risky hooks and dives. I don't know what happened in last year, but I mean, if you look at him, he's a very new type of person, but as long as I got along with him, you know, I can communicate with him really well. We have a really strong bond. We're having a really good time. We had a lot of funny moments as well. And also that BlastCon accident was really critical in the end of the game. Azir had to jump into the wall of the enemy nexus. I don't really remember that. Yeah, there were some blooper coming out of T1. Are you sure you don't remember it? I didn't even saw it. Kana being super professional at the interview. Then let's move on to another topic. We had a lot of fights and skirmishes. And recently, especially Coach Kim has been mentioning that T1 wants to grow up and adapt to the fights. Yeah, I guess we are fighting a lot. And the more we fight, the better we get used to fights and become better. T1, they were always so strong in a large team fight, a very controlled team fight. But now, Coach Kim mentioned that he want to be good at small fights, skirmishes as well. Did you guys feel any kind of improvements? Did it go as you guys planned? I think it felt well, and I think we won, so it was really fun. Then, what color is your performance today? Our team color is red, so I'll go with red today. That was like an in real life commercial quote coming out from Kana in a truly ad star here in Korea. However, game number 2 was not easy, to be honest. How did the players saw the situation? We were behind in the early phase, but we had this confidence that we are better in the late game. What was the reason or evidence that you guys believe that you will be having the lead in the later phase? We had better engagements, we could collapse better, and we had better damage dealers on our side. Game 2 was really close, so we had a very split vote for POG. So, who would you want to vote for the POG in Game 2? Definitely not me, to be honest. I thought mid or bot. Kanna. Some people said you are one of the underestimated players because even though you perform really well, you outperform your opponents, but you don't get enough spotlight about your performance. And some people call you the Gatna because you're playing so well. What's your favorite nickname? I mean, I heard only the things that I've heard already. Nothing really new. The Gatna. With that God force, we are really looking forward to your next series up against Tamon Gaming. Well, T1 has a little bit of a hard time up against this team, so how are we gonna prepare for that series? Tamon, all 5 players are doing a great job, but T1 as well is a group of fantastic players, so I wanna go all in for that series. And you are the representative of your hometown Andong, so I hope you can keep this hard work. And this will be the end of the interview with Kanna from T1. I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason, as usual, for your interview translation. And that is going to do it for week 2. I do need to chime in on T1 facing off against Damwon because the fun doesn't end there. After that, they're against Gen G. It's going to be a very interesting week for T1 fans because it really will separate the strong from the less strong, one could say.
I mean, old Big 3 versus new Big 3 as well, you know?
Yeah.
Dynamics, and also there is so many teams that which is performing really well. So I think this standings already really looking really interesting, right? Before this week, all the blue teams are on the left side, but right now it's a bit mixed.
It certainly is. And I find it really interesting that T1 and Gen G have done exactly the same things throughout both weeks. Both of them lose to DRX, and then both of them manage to find victories in exactly the same fashion. 2-0, 2-1, doesn't really matter, and they are going to continue to be on equal footing. And both of them moving their way back up the standings, but on Friday, we'll have to pick between them because they're going to be facing off against one another, but not before T1 takes on Damwon, and Gen G at that point facing against SANDBOX will help with their momentum moving into that series. T1 versus Damwon, though, is a really exciting one. Remember, it was Damwon that ruined T1's chances at MSC. When they faced off against each other, it was Damwon that were able to take T1 down. So I'm very interested to see what Damwon has planned and to see how T1 is going to fight a team that has looked very, very strong. Despite the fact that Damwon weren't able to take down Gen G. Still looking very, very good.
Yeah, and there is also DRX versus Dynamics.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting match. I mean, before the Summer Split starts, we were thinking a lot that Dynamics is not going to perform that well. But yeah, they are already showing off, you know. And that this time around, it's top 1 against top 1 team in LCK.
Exactly. This is actually their biggest test. I think the only other team that they've faced that's towards the top of the standings was Afrika, so DRX is going to be a huge step up, especially after they just dispatched Afrika today 2-0. But that will do it for week 2 of LCK Summer, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you for week 3 in a couple of days' time. See you then. Good night.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my